Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football video. Today, we are doing a 12-team mock draft from the 5th slot, as requested by one of my subscribers, Graham R. So if you're not subscribed, like that man, I would like if you guys could please go down below and click that subscribe button, because not only will it help me, it is going to help you, because once you click that subscribe button, you're going to be getting all the videos to dominate your draft, alright? And then once you dominate that draft, you're going to keep watching during the regular season for all the content that I put out daily. Okay, and then during the postseason slash the playoffs, you're going to come back again and get all the videos that you can win your fantasy football championship. Now, if you don't have a fantasy football championship trophy, ring, draft board, a belt, then go down below, check out my sponsor, fantasybros.com. If you use code Notorious at checkout, you will get 5% off. So it would really mean a lot to me if you check that out. So let's get into it. Like I said, this is a 12-team PPR draft from the 5th slot. So let's get right into the draft. So, first pick of the draft was Saquon Barkley, followed by Alvin Kamara, David Johnson, Christian McCaffrey. Pretty typical beginning of the draft. A lot of times now, Zeke has slid way back due to the fact that he has not gotten that contract that he wants when I'm recording this video at 1:26 in the morning on 8:20. Now, if you're watching this a couple of days later and he does sign, then you would pick him here, obviously. But as of right now, I would just go the wide receiver way and just go with the best wide receiver available, and that is, in my opinion, Davante Adams. I don't think you can go wrong with Adams or Hopkins, but in my opinion, Adams will be the better wide receiver. I think he will score more touchdowns. And Aaron Rodgers talked about throwing the ball more to him. Last year, he was so consistent every single game, catching touchdowns, getting 100 yards, catching the ball like 7, 8 times. And it was crazy. He was so consistent. And I love that consistency in my first round pick. So that's why I'm going to go with Davante Adams over DeAndre Hopkins. But you go Hopkins if that's who you want. So after with Davante Adams, Ezekiel Elliott came at the board, followed by D Hop, Julio Jones, James Conner, Lev Bell, Odell Beckham Jr., Michael Thomas, Tyreek Hill, Nick Chubb, Juju Smith Schuster, Todd Gurley, Mike Evans, Travis Kelce, and Kerryon Johnson. So first tight end off the board at the 2-6 was Travis Kelce. Typically, you're going to see the first tight end go off the board at the end of the first round or the beginning of the second round. Right here, it was at the 2-6. Pretty normal. For that first quarterback off the board, Pat Mahomes will come slightly later, around the fourth round, third or fourth round typically. But in your at-home league, you could see him come off the board even in the first or second round because people are crazy for that quarterback. So since we're under the wide receiver slot, we're not going to take a wide receiver here, but I want to talk about Antonio Brown. Now, I don't know what to do with this guy because he has frostbite on his toe, on his foot, right? So you don't know if he'll be good to suit up week 1. And then he files a new grievance regarding that helmet. And now it's just like, what do we do with AB? Like, is he going to play? Is he going to go crazy? I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to avoid him now. Like 2 days ago, I was all on the train of drafting AB, but now I'm just off of him again. And I'm going to stay off of him the whole rest of the draft season. I'm staying off of Mr. Big Chest. I'm staying away from AB. So we're just going to go with running back here. And my opinion has changed on one of these running backs recently, and that is Damian Williams. Damian Williams did get the first team. Wait, what? Damian Williams has not taken a snap on the offense yet in the 2 preseason games. He's battling a hamstring issue. In camp, he should get a few carries before week 1, but fantasy owners should not be concerned. He's going to be the lead back on the Chiefs, assuming he stays healthy. That doesn't even make sense because right here it says that he played and he got 1 target. All right, whatever. So he did play in the preseason like I thought, and then they sat him once all the starters got off the field. So what that makes me think is he will be the RB1 on the team. And I think that I like his value back again where it is in the second round. I would be willing to draft him here if the one running back wasn't already here, and that is Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon is going to be a top 10 running back in fantasy football this season, I'm pretty sure, and if he's not a top 10, he's going to be top 12, which still makes him an RB1 in a 12-team fantasy football league. He has the pass catching upside. He will run the ball. He's the best player on the Cincinnati Bengals right now that is still alive. AJ Green has that injury to his to his leg, somewhere on his leg, that it just fucking failed me right there. But you step on a crack, you break AJ Green's back because he is so injury prone. So what I'm saying basically is that Joe Mixon is going to be the focal point of this offense through the first couple of games while AJ Green is gone. He will be able to do it pretty easily. He played pretty good in the last preseason game. He stiff-armed the shit out of Josh Norman on the Redskins, so I like Joe Mixon here. Joe Mixon played great last year, even on a shitty team, so you got to think that the team being probably just as shit or even slightly better with a new coach and Zach Taylor would be better. So after with Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, Cantor Board, followed by Devontae Freeman, Pat Mahomes. Like I said, Pat Mahomes goes typically in the second, third, fourth round, even in the first or second, because people are fucking crazy. They like to get the quarterback early. Do not do that. The value you're losing at a potential running back or wide receiver here is insane. So after Pat Mahomes came off the board, Keenan Allen was selected, followed by Adam Thielen, AB, Damian Williams, Leonard Fournette. So right here, there are some solid wide receivers, but there are some injury risks here. Now, T.Y. Hilton, the injury risk isn't T.Y. Hilton. He's having the best preseason or best training camp of his career. But what worries me is Andrew Luck's health. Now, Andrew Luck had that knee injury. No. Yeah, no, calf injury. He had a calf strain. My bad. Sorry, guys. He had a calf strain, and then it moved down to an ankle injury. And now his availability for week one is up in the air. I think he may miss potentially 6 games, maybe, or all year. So I'm just avoiding that T.Y. Hilton there. That kind of really does scare me. And Amari Cooper's dealing with that heel injury, so you got to avoid him here. Because while I think he may be healthy week one, he's still one of those guys that is going to go out there and win you a week by scoring 40 points, then lose you a week the next week getting 5 points and being completely irrelevant for fantasy football. So I would much rather just go the way of the running back here in the third round. Now, the running backs still available are Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, uh, Josh Jacobs, Marlon Mack, Chris Carson, all still available. So right now at this point, I would likely go with, in my opinion, the guy that is the best running back available. In my opinion, has changed a bit over time. Now, I do like Marlon Mack here, and I don't know whether I think that Marlon Mack, the fact that Andrew Luck is hurt, will help Marlon Mack or hurt him, or he will be exactly the same. I see him as the most safe pick here. We know what's going to happen in Indianapolis. Jacoby Brissett is not that bad. But at the same time, that obviously hurts T.Y. Hilton. But I think Marlon Mack would still be around the same. So I think that is who I would pick here. I also wouldn't mind picking Aaron Jones here, David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, or Chris Carson. But I think Marlon Mack is the safest pick. We know he's on a team that should be pretty good as long as Andrew Luck stays healthy. And even if he's not healthy, they'll be a middling team. Probably win 8 games if Andrew Luck is just out all season. I think that they have a great O-line and that Marlon Mack, even though he's not much of a pass catching back, will be successful in 2019 for fantasy football. So I like Marlon Mack here. After with Marlon Mack, T.Y. Hilton came out the board, followed by Aaron Jones, David Montgomery, Melvin Gordon, Zach Ertz, Amari Cooper, Stephon Diggs, Chris Carson, Brandon Cooks, Josh Jacobs, George Kittle, Julian Edelman, and Chris Godwin. So the big 3 tight ends are already off the board. Kelsey obviously being by far and away better than Ertz and Kittle in fantasy football, but they're still pretty good. Ertz and Kittle, they're in a tier by themselves, the second tier of tight end, and they usually come off the board before the end of the 4th round. Sometimes I've seen them fall to the 5th round, and that's a crazy value in the 5th round, getting Ertz or Kittle. But typically they're already picked by then. So right now, I like the fact that we picked a running back because the wide receiver, or a running back, we have 2 running backs on our team already, I should say, because the running backs right here I really do not like. So I would just pivot straight to a wide receiver because I do like the wide receiver value here. And the best wide receiver, in my opinion, that's still on the board is LA Rams wide receiver Robert Woods. Now, Robert Woods had a very great, not a very great season last year, a very good season last year. He played amazing, and he was very safe every single game. And I believe he will have that same safety net this year. Now, with the fact that Todd Gurley is dealing with that knee arthritis, and I don't know if he'll play all year or if he'll be in some drives, out other drives. I think they're going to rely more on the pass game. I think Jared Goff is going to step up more than last year and play great in the regular season, and Robert Woods will be the number 1 wide receiver on the team. Now, I don't mind. People like Cooks more than Woods. You know, it's all about preference, but I prefer Robert Woods. I don't like Cooper Kupp due to the fact that he tore his ACL towards the end of last season, and he will likely suit up week 1, but who knows how healthy he'll be. Once you tore your ACL, or tear your ACL late into the season, I believe it said I don't even know. I think it was week 8, 9, or 10. Towards the end of the season, it's a lot harder to recover, and he may play bad early. So I like Robert Woods here. So after with Robert Woods, his teammate Cooper Kupp came off the board, followed by Tyler Lockett, Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry, Philip Lindsay, Sony Michel, AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, and now it is our pick. So now the running backs that are falling to us, I like slightly more. Now, right now, I think the best running back available right here for a PPR situation is James White. Now, I'm going to look at the wide receivers first before I make a rash decision. Yep, I would like to get James White here. Now, James White is not all much of a running back. He's not much of a running back, but he is a great pass catcher. Now, James White is going to be seeing 8, 9 targets every single game. He's going to run the ball 5 times, probably get you 20, 25 yards. But where he gets that work, like I said, is in the passing game. He is very safe, in my opinion. He finished as a top 10 running back last year in fantasy football. Do I think he'll finish top 10 again? Probably not, but that does give you it does tell you how sneaky James White is. He finished top 7, I believe, in PPR. He was number 7. And I think that this year he could probably finish as a top 20 back easily as long as the Patriots are pretty good, just like they always are. So I think James White is very safe here. So after we go with James White, Calvin Ridley came at the board, followed by Mike Williams, Aaron Rodgers, Jarvis Landry, Tevin Coleman, DJ Moore, OJ Howard, Deshaun Watson, Evan Ingram, Alshon Jeffrey, Robbie Anderson, Tariq Cohen, Latavius Murray, and Baker Mayfield. So 4 quarterbacks have already been selected. That is Mahomes, Rodgers, then Watson, then Baker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tight ends have already been selected. So right here, I would normally go with a wide receiver because I normally like this in the 6th round. I typically like the wide receivers that are available. But at the same time, a running back that I really wanted to get, that I would even target in the 5th round, having if James White wasn't there, that is Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders looked great in the preseason action he was given. He was given 5 carries on Sunday. He carried the ball 5 times for 31 yards. That's great. That's amazing. So I think that he will end up being the running back 1 on the team. Now, at the beginning of the season, he will split with Jordan Howard, I believe. So I don't know if you could start him as your flex right when the season comes to a start. But what I do know is a couple weeks into the season, he will be the running back 1 on the team. Jordan Howard is not a good back in the NFL. Maybe he's solid in fantasy because you get a few weeks out of him, and he'll probably be pretty useful. Maybe they'll use him on the red zone. But what I do think is that Miles Sanders will end up being that RB1. He can catch passes, he can run the ball, and I think that he will be solid this year in fantasy football. So he's definitely worth this 6th round pick being our RB4. So after Miles Sanders, Christian Kirk came at the board, followed by Hunter Henry, and Jared Cook, Austin Eckler, Rashad Penny. Why is it not letting me scroll down? Oh, there we go. Rashad Penny, Sammy Watkins, Matty Ice, Lamar Miller. So now we're going to look over towards the quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, I don't really like. Luck, I don't really like due to that injury. So we'll just go either tight end or running back or wide receiver here. Let's see. Running backs, I still like some running backs that are going slightly later, so I'm fine going wide receiver here or tight end. So I think that typically Vance McDonald does end up falling to like the 8th round, but I want to be safe and get the tight end that I want here. Now, in some drafts, when I'm more willing to wait on tight end longer, but I really already like the team I've constructed, so I don't feel like I made any mistakes to where I would need to just wait on tight end and acquire some more running back depth or wide receiver depth this early in the draft. So I would just go with Vance McDonald here. He's likely going to be, well, he is going to be the tight end 1 on the Pittsburgh Steelers now that Jesse James is gone. And if you combine him and Jesse James' target, Vance McDonald and Jesse James' like production last year, they were top 5 tight ends. So obviously you can't combine those two in real life. Obviously that's not going to happen. They're not going to do some Dragon Ball Z shit. You know what I'm saying? I just slap my mic. You know what I'm saying? Where they go, and they touch, and they become. I don't watch Dragon Ball Z. Maybe they don't become the same person when they do that. But I thought that's what happened. And I think that Vance McDonald obviously won't be top 5, but he's getting those AB vacated targets, those Jesse James vacated targets, those Le'Veon Bell vacated targets, even though Le'Veon Bell didn't play last year and it was James Conner / Jalen Samuels. I do believe Vance McDonald will have some solid value here. He's a big guy. He can catch passes in the end zone. He'll be used on the whole field. He played a lot of snaps yesterday. Now he's dealing with an unknown day-to-day injury. That's perfectly fine with me. Day-to-day means he'll probably be fine. He was quiet in the win. He only had 1 reception for 5 yards, but he played every single snap with the first team, I believe. So I'm going to go with Vance McDonald here. So after with Vance McDonald, Larry Fitz came off the board, followed by Carson Wentz, Allen Robinson, Andrew Luck, Drew Brees, Kenyon Drake, Darius Geis, Will Fuller, Kyler Murray, Curtis Samuel, Geronimo Allison, Darrell Henderson, Rolls-Royce Freeman, and Dante Pettis. So the running back we wanted, Rolls-Royce, did not end up falling to us, but that is A-okay. Because now I want to get another wide receiver. And one of my favorite wide receivers did end up falling to us, and that is Mr. D.D. Westbrook. A lot of people, I've seen articles, and I've watched YouTube videos, people are hating on D.D. Westbrook. Oh, he's only had 40% of his games as a wide receiver 3 or flex option. This, that, and the other thing. Well, he's never had a quarterback that was as good as Nick Foles. Blake Bortles, when push comes to shove, was not that good. And no quarterback targets the the slot option like Nick Foles. Nick Foles loves that slot action. He's going to be slinging the ball to D.D. Westbrook in the slot a lot. Marquise Lee coming off the pup now, so maybe that does hurt him slightly because Marquise Lee is a great wide receiver. But at the exact same time, D.D. Westbrook will have a great season this year in the slot. He will probably be worth this pick because you can play him as a flex pretty much every single week, I believe. So I'm going to go with D.D. Westbrook here. The offense will look better than with Blake Bortles. So after we selected D.D. Westbrook, Eric Ebron came on the board, followed by Jordan Howard, Chicago Bears defense, Kalen Balaj, not Kevin Balaj, Kalen Balaj, MVS, Ronald Jones II, Kareem Hunt, and Cam Newton. So, quarterback still available. Jared Goff, Russell Wilson, famous Jameis. So I could wait here and go with a running back, but like I say in a lot of these videos, if you guys haven't watched any of my videos, I talk about how stacking is kind of valuable. Getting that quarterback and that wide receiver connection or the quarterback and tight end connection could prove to really benefit your team a lot of times. You're getting plays where, say it's a 6-point per passing touchdown league, if your quarterback throws it to your wide receiver, you're getting 12 points plus the yards for that play. Or if it's a 4-point league, you're getting 10 points for that one touchdown plus the yards. So I think that going with the stack necessarily on a good team is so much more valuable. And Jared Goff connecting with Robert Woods will be one of the better stacks in fantasy football this year. I think, in my opinion, the best stack is probably and Pat Mahomes and Tyreek, or Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. Now, that is like a second and third round pick or a potential first and second round pick you're wasting on those two guys. So I don't really like doing that stack, but it probably will end up being the best. But Jared Goff and Robert Woods is definitely up there. Jared Goff is a great quarterback, in my opinion. Robert Woods is a great receiver. They will have amazing games together. And I think that Jared Goff's a very safe quarterback. Now, normally if we didn't have Woods, I'd probably just wait one round and go with Winston or Lamar Jackson or Dak or not Jimmy Garoppolo or Josh Allen, but I will go with Jared Goff in this exact situation. So after I went with Jared Goff, Corey Davis came off the board, followed by David Njoku, Marvin Jones, Colton Sutton, Duke Johnson, Jalen Samuels, LaShawn McCoy, Sterling Shepard, Austin Hooper, Josh Gordon, Emmanuel Sanders, LA Rams defense, DK Metcalf. So currently we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yep, 4 running backs and 3 receivers. So we will build some more running back value here. So right now, I would go with the best running back available, and in my opinion, that is Mr. Matt Breida. I think Matt Breida is going to be great this fantasy football season. He was going all over the field in training camp. The coaches were raving about him, how he, let's see, where is it? Versatility on display. He was able to catch passes, run the ball perfectly fine, and with which running back is on the pup? I believe it is, let's read, guys. A bunch of readers here. With Jerick McKinnon is still not off the pup as of right now, and I think that Matt Breida could definitely start off the season, start off strong, and keep that job as the running back one on the team, with Tevin Coleman being the complement at the running back two on the team, being the pass-catching back, while Matt Breida still gets that pass-catching upside. So after we have Matt Breida, Kiki Kudikan at the board, followed by Russell Wilson, famous Jameis, Deshaun Jackson, Dante Moncrief, Devin Singletary, Jags D, Peyton Barber. So, given some of these running backs on the board I really do like, I won't be able to do this, but I have kind of lightened up on the way of Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson could be the primary back coming the start of the season. He played great in that preseason game a few days ago. 4 attempts for 31 yards. That's pretty good. And I think that AP could end up just being the running back one, with Geis really not being able to stay healthy at all. It seems like his career is going to be that way. A very injury-prone player. So I think AP could be useful here, but I'd much rather just go with Justice Hill. Now, Justice Hill will be completely irrelevant the second Melvin Gordon signs, so you have to realize that. That is kind of risky, but I don't think Melvin Gordon will end up signing till... I think potentially he can hold out till week 10, I read, but I think around week 8, week 9 is when he would come back. So you're having 8 free weeks of Justin Jackson in the 11th round, a guy that won't be the running back 1 on the team, but will be the running back 2 on the team. And maybe he will get a lot of rushes on the team, and he looked amazing when Melvin Gordon was out yet last year with injury, so I like Justin Jackson here. So after with Justin Jackson, Philip Rivers came off the board, followed by N'Keal Harry, James Washington, Golden Tate, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Tyrell Williams, Chargers D, Lamar Jackson, AP, Going Psycho, TJ Hawkinson, Damian Harris, Tom Brady, Baltimore Ravens, Alexander Mattison. So if I didn't say it earlier, don't draft the Bears defense in the 8th round. Don't draft any defense until the last 2 rounds, depending on which one you go. Defense, kicker, defense, whatever floats your boat. You can do either of those. So Right now, I would just go with a wide receiver that I think has high upside with this pick. You don't need a backup quarterback or a backup tight end, especially when you have two great players like this. So we would just go with wide receiver. In my opinion, there's a couple of guys I like here. I like Gallup. I like, let's see, Gallup, Humphreys, John Brown would be my selection out of all of these guys. I think that Gallup probably has the highest upside. He played pretty good in the preseason game, caught both targets in opener, 19 yards. He looks like a guy that could be a safety net while Amari Cooper is dealing with this injury. And now that Mr. Cole the Beazles is gone, Cole Beasley, I think that Michael Gallup will be a lot more heavily involved in the offense. So I like him here. So after with Michael Gallup, Anthony Miller came off the board, followed by Devin Funches, Greg the Leg Zerline, Dickie Dak Prescott, Jamison Crowder, Justice Hill, Delaney Walker, Cleveland Browns. Now it's our picks. We're going to go with the most high upside running back still on the board, and that is most likely, in my opinion, going to be Tony Pollard. Now, if Zeke doesn't sign by week 1, you're going to be getting solid games out of Tony Pollard for probably a few games. Now, the thing came out that Jerry Jones was like, Zeke who? And Zeke's like, fuck you, Mr. Jerry Jones, you old motherfucker. I don't like that. So maybe Tony Pollard will get a few games at the beginning of the season. So I like Tony Pollard here. I don't know why that just happened. I want Tony Pollard. So after with Tony Pollard, old man Jordan Reed got picked, followed by John Brown, Justin Tucker the fucker, Minnesota Vikings, Darwin Thompson, Kirk Cousins, Dion Lewis, Harrison Bunker, Houston Texans, Stephen Gostowski, Will Lutz, Dante Foreman, Kyle Fairbairn, New England Patriots, and now we get our defense. So the way you're going to draft the defense is go on Google, okay? You type in NFL schedule week 1, then you find a defense playing against a shitty offense week 1 and week 2, but if only just week 1, that's fine. The Cowboys are playing the Giants week 1 and week 2. They're playing against Washington. And some people think Miami's a bad offense. I'm a Miami fan, so I will be dropping them week 3. But you could definitely play them against Miami. So they have 3 solid weeks to start off the season. 2 in my opinion, but a lot of people think 3. So after the Cowboys, we picked the Cowboys. Robbie Gould came off the board, followed by Jake Elliott. And when I say to pick against a shitty opponent, I mean the defense playing against a shitty offensive opponent. Obviously, I don't mean a defense playing against a bad defense. That would make 0 sense. So after we went with the Cowboys, Robbie Gould came off the board, followed by Jake Elliott, me, Cole Hardman, Jimmy G Spot, Greg Olson, Trey Boo Boo, Ito Smith, Kyle Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And now we get Giorgio Trevecchio at the kicker position, followed by Matt Prater, Naheem Hines comes to the board, followed by Mark Andrews, DC, Titans, Vinatieri, and Adam Humph Daddy. So our final roster is at the starting quarterback is Jared Goff, followed by Joe Mixon, Marlon Mack, Devontae Adams. Oh, okay. Well, I should just say each position. So our quarterback is Jared Goff. Sorry. Our 2 running backs are Mixon and Mack. Our 2 wideouts are Adams and Woods. Our tight end is Vance McDonald. Our flex is James White. Our kicker is Giorgio Trevecchio. Our defense is the Cowboys. Our bench is comprised of Miles Sanders, D.D. Westbrook, Matt Breida, Justin Jackson, Michael Gallup, and Tony Pollard. So, thank you guys all for watching. If you guys could please click that subscribe button down below, it would really mean a lot to me. And like I said, it's going to mean a lot to you because I'm going to be helping you guys dominate the draft, dominate the regular season, dominate the postseason, win that fantasy football trophy. So, if you made it all the way back to the end of the video, please leave a comment. Also, I read all the comments, it really means a lot. Thank you guys all for clicking that subscribe button. I love all of you. Have a great rest of your day, and come back later for another video, at 1:15 p.m. EST, and then at 5:15 p.m. EST. Goodbye, guys.